Today marks 8 years since an explosion in downtown Sun Prairie killed Fire Captain Cory Barr and changed the Sun Prairie community forever. To honor the day, Sun Prairie fire personnel and others gathered to remember Captain Barr. He was killed and another firefighter was hurt when a punctured natural gas line exploded at the corner of Main and Bristol Streets. Sun Prairie Fire and EMS Chief Chris Garrison spoke about who Captain Barr was during his time with the department, including that day when crews went directly to the scene to evacuate over 200 people to safety. A memorial now stands outside of Sun Prairie Fire Station 1 in honor of Barr and all the fire personnel who responded that day.